Non più tra i farfalloni amoroso, notte e giorno di torno girando, delle belle turbando al riposo.
This is the foreleg and shoulder of a Hokkaido Ezo deer, and recently I learned that in Italian butchers refer to them as violins.
Quel cappello leggero galante, quella chioma, quell'aria brillante, quel vermiglio d'one.
I stripped the meat off two forelegs, two violins, and this is how much meat I get from just two. Then I roasted the bones in the oven, and then with this big pot here, I took a broth from the bones. And later, when the fire is burning in the main hall, I will burn these bones. They will burn really, really well. In Japan, especially, hunters just throw away the forelegs. They say there's no meat on them, but God, look, you know, I mean, this is a hell of a lot of meat on them. It's pretty sinewy stuff, which makes it perfect for curries, stews, hamburgers, minces, meat sauces, and so forth. So from one violin, I can feed at least 25 people. So as I'm cooking for 50, there's enough meat for generous amounts here for 50 people. I know I hated celery when I was a kid, but then I had celery flavored crisps, as they call them in Britain, and I love celery ever since. So I put it in. Don't tell the little buggers I put it in.
Non più frai quella chioma, non più frai quell'aria brillante, non più frai.
The leaves of the celery, and then I take them out because they're a bit coarse, but they'll give a nice flavour to the stock. This venison has come from Hokkaido, and it's wrapped in muslin. It's wrapped in soft cloth like this, and then in plastic, so it doesn't get freezer burn. And I like to let it thaw out very slowly. And as this kitchen is normally not heated, if I leave it on this, you know, in a tray like this for a day and a half or a couple of days, it's just fine. Actually, when I was in the Arctic on my later expeditions, wanting to save fuel and keep things hot, I carried a pressure cooker. And you can steam stuff in a pressure cooker, or you can boil it, and it takes much less time and fuel. Now, if you look at that and that, it's not going to go into that. This sears the outside of the meat and helps keep the flavour in. Deer fat is very waxy and it's not good for your heart, but it is, so I cut that off and I wrap it and I use it to light fires as a fire starter. It blazes. Just with meat and a little celery in the broth. I'll keep it stewing for an hour. In the meantime, I'll add ginger, and then tomorrow, we're serving tomorrow evening, I'll add the onions, potatoes, the curry spice, and apples to make it a bit mild, and a couple of cans of mushrooms too.
軍ではね、英国の軍では、悪い子たちがこういう仕事させる。
I usually use all kinds of spices to make curry, but as it's for Japanese kids, elementary school kids, I'm doing it very, very ordinary, simple way. They're all gone. 38 kids, 22 adults, and most of the adults even had never tasted venison before, and none of the kids had it, and they all came and said it was delicious. And the bigger boys had 4 or 5 helpings. And when you think that in Japan we throw away over 300,000 deer a year, we even pay hunters to kill the deer, just take the tail, and they get money for the tail. And I hear stories, venison is smelly, from people who've never eaten it. They just don't know how to cook it. The waste to me, is appalling. And I don't feel at all that I'm betraying the country of my citizen when I say this waste is criminal. And the deer have to be culled because we have no wolves, no cougars, and they just increase and they destroy the forests, strip the bark off the trees, they eat endangered plants in the mountains, they raid orchards, paddy fields, beet fields. The damage is horrendous, so I can see that they have to be taken, but wasted, no. And we proved again tonight that a simple venison curry is so loved by Japanese kids. Come on, guys, let's get it together. Stop wasting. But don't tell me we need the meat from the Antarctic whaling when we're throwing away all this venison.
Still partially frozen, but not hard, so it's easy to cut. But when you thaw out meat, it's best to do it gradually. Otherwise, see, look at that. That is lovely meat.